Welcome to the Discipline Mindset Podcast, where we explore the world of discipline and how it can help us achieve success. Today's topic is overcoming the lack of motivation. We all have days when we lack the motivation to get out of bed, go to work, or hit the gym. It's a common experience for many people, but it can be challenging to overcome. That's when discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when we don't feel like it. In this episode, we will explore the difference between discipline and motivation, how our minds resist change, and the power of small daily improvements. We will share examples of successful people who have achieved greatness through discipline and consistency, even when they lacked motivation. Segment 1: Discipline versus Motivation. When we think about achieving our goals, we often focus on motivation. We believe that if we have enough motivation, we can achieve anything. However, motivation is a temporary state of mind. It comes and goes, and we can't rely on it to sustain us in the long run. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the ability to stay committed to our goals, even when we don't feel motivated. Successful people understand the power of discipline. They know that discipline is what keeps them going when motivation fades. Take, for example, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book while she was a struggling single mother living on welfare. She wrote the book in cafes while her baby slept beside her. She didn't have the luxury of waiting for motivation to strike. Instead, she was disciplined and committed to her goal of writing a book. The result? The Harry Potter series has sold over 500 million copies and has become a cultural phenomenon. Another example is Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Bryant was known for his legendary work ethic and discipline. He would wake up at 4 a.m. every day to start his training regimen. He didn't rely on motivation to get him out of bed, he relied on his discipline and commitment to his craft. His discipline paid off, and he won 5 NBA championships and 2 Olympic gold medals. The lesson here is that motivation may get us started, but discipline is what keeps us going. We need to cultivate discipline in our lives if we want to achieve our goals. Segment 2: Overcoming Resistance. Our minds are wired to resist change. We prefer to stay in our comfort zones, even if that means not achieving our goals. This resistance can make it challenging to establish new habits or break old ones. For example, if we want to start exercising regularly, our minds will resist the discomfort and pain of starting a new exercise routine. To overcome this resistance, we need to reprogram our minds. We need to change our beliefs and attitudes about change. Instead of fearing change, we need to embrace it. We need to view change as an opportunity for growth and transformation. One way to reprogram our minds is through positive affirmations. Affirmations are statements that we repeat to ourselves to change our beliefs and attitudes. For example, we can repeat the affirmation, "I am disciplined and committed to my goals." By repeating this affirmation, we can start to believe it and cultivate the discipline we need to achieve our goals. Another way to overcome resistance is to break our goals down into smaller, manageable steps. When we set big goals, our minds can feel overwhelmed, and we may give up before we even start. But when we break our goals down into smaller steps, we can make progress every day. This progress builds momentum and makes it easier to stay committed to our goals. Segment 3: The Power of Small Daily Improvements. Success is not achieved overnight. It's the result of consistent and disciplined efforts. One way to achieve our goals is through small daily improvements. These small improvements may seem insignificant at first, but over time, they can lead to significant transformation. For example, let's say we want to write a book. If we try to write the entire book in one sitting, we may feel overwhelmed and give up before we even start. But if we commit to writing 500 words a day, we can make steady progress towards our goal. In just 100 days, we'll have written 50,000 words, the length of a typical novel. This approach may take longer, but it's more sustainable and more likely to lead to success. Another example is learning a new skill. If we want to learn to play an instrument, we may feel overwhelmed by the thought of mastering an entire piece. But if we commit to practicing for just 10 minutes a day, we can make steady progress towards our goal. In a year, we'll have practiced for over 60 hours, and we'll likely see significant improvement in our playing ability. The key to small daily improvements is consistency. We need to commit to our daily actions and make them a habit. When we make something a habit, it becomes easier to do, and we're more likely to stick with it in the long run. Another important factor in achieving our goals is having a long-term vision. We need to know what we want to achieve and why we want to achieve it. When we have a clear vision, we're more likely to stay committed to our goals, even when we face challenges or setbacks. Conclusion. In conclusion, discipline is essential to achieving our goals, even when we lack motivation. We need to cultivate discipline in our lives, make small daily improvements, and have a long-term vision for our goals. We also need to overcome the resistance of our minds to change and reprogram our beliefs and attitudes about change. Successful people understand the power of discipline and consistency. They know that success is not achieved overnight, but through steady and disciplined effort. By applying these principles to our lives, we can achieve our goals, even when we lack motivation. Thank you for listening to the Discipline Mindset Podcast. We hope this episode has inspired you to cultivate discipline in your life, even when you lack motivation. Remember, small daily improvements can lead to significant transformation. Stay disciplined and keep pushing forward. Join us next time for more insights on how to cultivate discipline in your life. Welcome to the Discipline Mindset Podcast, where we explore the world of discipline and